Ladies and gentlemen, hello, my name is Roman Klemicic. I'm a colleague of Oliver Boyder, and as Oliver already introduced, the basis of this European project, the Smart Move project, is a pilot study in Austria, where we have applied this dialogue marketing process, what is taken from experience from other implementation areas, mainly in Germany. And we said, okay, let's try it in our area. I will tell you also something why we had this idea. But of course we had some experience made on this implementation, and therefore we would say, okay, let's try it on a European dimension, and also to add some other elements in this process, what we have defined here, as Oliver introduced you, because we think something is missing maybe, and this Intelligent Energy Europe program gives us the opportunity to get some fund for new tests and trials for such implementation and new strategies to check if this is a successful strategy we are following. And on the second side, also Oliver already mentioned it, we are focusing on rural areas because we have a lot of funding. Also, let's think about Civitas, for example, even on European level, but also on national level, concentrating on the cities. Of course, we know 80% of people are living in the cities, and the biggest demand and the highest cost coverage and the highest capacity to be offered for the people have to be done in the cities. But as always said, also especially our university is also thinking on the rural areas and about the development of the rural areas, because also the rural areas have some, of course, important functions. It's not the area where people are living, but it's the area where, for example, food is produced for ourselves in the cities to be supplied. So we need some infrastructure that we have to keep the people in this area, and also to make efforts to maintain this area. And it's also a touristic destination. It's the destination for our recreational activities. So therefore, we don't have to forget about these rural areas. Setting the scene. In the Waldviertel, I will just give you a slide in the next slide where we are located in our implementation area. There was a new bus system because there was old-fashioned railway lines. They were closed down some years ago, and they said we want to create a new bus-based, mainly bus-based system, totally new direction, because the railway system, what was closed down, mainly was oriented on goods transport. So the links between the cities mainly were oriented, for example, to the harbors of the River Danube, the inland water harbors, and to the hinterland where there is the forest production and all the woods, the logs were put down to this area. Or the salt, for example, was transported from these old harbors up to the north, even to Bohemia, crossing the border to the Czech Republic. And therefore the existing infrastructure of the rail doesn't really 100% fit to the demand of the people living there, because the capital areas where there are the highest schools, where there are the employment places, service industry and other industries are other destinations. You cannot accommodate this with the existing rail system. So therefore the province of Lower Austria, where this area is settled, decided to introduce a new system of the bus. But what they did, they put a lot of effort in planning about the origin, the destination of the people. They have a transport model, and they set up and also they put a lot of money in the system. They signed contracts with bus operators to run this system. But what they see, so they have now contracts for 5 years, and they said, okay, we want to evaluate this after 5 years, and then we see how we proceed on this bus system. But even in the first 1-2 years, the demand figures, they were behind the expectations. And we had some opportunities, some ways to discuss with the people responsible, and we said, okay, it's a nice system, I understand it, there is an internet platform, you get explained everything. They printed nice pocket timetables, but we asked the people, the responsible people, how have you transferred it to your clients? They said, okay, come on, the clients, they will come and they will check it out, no problem. They said, maybe there is some missing link in between. And this was the idea and the initial point of this project. Is okay, we have some knowledge about this transfer to the people, to the potential and existing passengers, and if you give us little money, we want to increase your number of passengers in your system without any changes, as Oliver said, of the existing timetable. Just with the existing supply, what is for a rural area, it's quite good to say. Okay, where are we talking about? We are in Austria. It's quite in the middle of the continental Europe. So Krakow is somewhere here. So we are south-west. And within Austria we have 9 provinces. One of these provinces is Lower Austria, it's the red one. And the Waldviertel is the northwestern part. So this is the Czech Republic, this is Slovakia, and this is Germany. That you can order yourself. This is the layout of the new bus system. So the bus system has a new branding also with nice buses. There will be a picture somewhere in one of the slides. And totally reconstructed the bus system with the capital areas. They have some interchanging point. These are the yellow dots here you see on the screen. And of course they do not close down all the railway lines, only the smaller ones. The main railway line is still existing. And you see everywhere where you have seen this ÖBB sign, this is the Federal Railway of Austria, is an interchanging point also to the railway, of course. So the bus is not standing alone, so it's also integrated in the railway system. So you see here you have interchanging point because the main line goes that way here, and then goes down here to Krems, and then Vienna is this direction, and you have another line here, coming here also to Vienna, and you have the very south. It's the West Railway, Mail. Oops, it's on the railway between Munich, Germany and Vienna. But everything between these lines is now served by buses. So the old railways, for example, Zwettl, because from Zwettl, for example, there's an old railway up to the north, to this line, and all people, they want to go to Vienna from here. So it's, for them, it's really not a direct way to go to Vienna. But as I said before, this is the heritage of the old layout of the railway network because of the goods transport. Yeah, the new line started in the year 2009. In total, there are 21 lines. The operation is only on working day, from Monday to Friday. There's no weekend transport because the focus of this service was for commuters mainly and for school, for pupils. In total, 2 million kilometers are service kilometers are in this bus offer. Included, as I said, commuters, and yeah. And what also was a new idea of this system, it's kind of express bus system. So the smaller villages between, they're not served. Because they said we are focusing on the bigger settlements and serve these on a higher quality level and left out the smaller ones, assuming that the people, they will go by car or by any other modes to the bigger hubs, so for the first mile and last mile. This was also a strategy of these. So you see the bus down here on the left. There were different operators contracted, but they had all the same label, the same branding of the buses. And the project itself, this pilot study, concentrated on 2 lines. As I said, it was more than 20 lines, but the funding was only for 2 lines. But it was the most important line. This is from Gmünd here in the northwest. So this is the border already to the Czech Republic. So it's very close to the border of the city, and goes down to Krems, what is the hub, with the railway station to Vienna. From here it's 40 minutes to Vienna, about. And this is the WA1 line, so this is the most important line. And additionally, as you see on the network plan again, already there is some of tangential lines. And one of these is, for example, from Born. It's a district town, market town, with some infrastructure like high school and something like this. links to another station, Askenfeld, to this line WA1. The difference is you have more or less an hourly service in both directions running on WA1 line. On this line, you see on this nice. Can we? Okay, excellent. And WA23 line is only 4 times a day running service. So only in the morning, on midday for the pupils, and in the evening for the commuters. A very poor service. But we have said we want to also integrate such a service, and it looks how this turns out in our project. Coming to the time scale, let you see what is the time frame of such an implementation. So we started week 19 on my part, but you see it's a process about 10 weeks, from 19 to 28. With these phases already I told you, we have this information letter as the first action to get in contact with people. Of course, there is preparation beforehand to collect all the material and to analyze what can we offer for the people in the region. You will see what we have offered in another slide in a minute. Then we waiting for the reaction of the people. Then we contacted them directly. We did a segmentation so that we see what are the people. Are they users, non-users? Are they interested, not interested? You'll see in a minute. Then we send out this list to order the people to make them an offer, because we need some further information. As for example, Oliver told you, we are focusing on the individualized aspect. So of course, for example, we offer them, we will print out all the information what is on your bus stop, for example, on the next bus stop of your home. But for this, of course, you have to know some basic information. What is the most interested destination of this client? Maybe there are 2 or 3 bus stops of interest, so we can select the right bus stop and print out the right information for him. Or we also ask, have you a specific origin destination, a specific link you are interested in, a special time when you want to go? Are you going for shopping or are you going to work on this line? So please tell us the times, you prefer times, and we will print out your personalized timetable, for example. Okay, so this is also included in this order form, or we have also distributed this. Yeah, then we have again to wait for these to receive this feedback information. Sometimes we have another phone call if we did not receive something, if everything is delivered properly or everything is clear for the people of the target group. And then we have sent out the information. Mainly we were focusing not sending out by post, but sending out. We have some students in our university, they will go around and they had the address list and they knocked on the door and they try to personally hand over the material. In some cases, if they have no successful contact, of course, sometimes they also just deliver it at the door, just on the door directly. Yeah. And this is the segmentation, as already also mentioned. So this is very small segmentation. We were thinking now in the SmartMove project in a more detailed segmentation, but this is the minimum segmentation you can do in such a program. You have people, they are in principle interested or not interested. Not interested is easy to identify, you can not receive anything, and also no successful contacts are made. If you can establish a contact, or even people reply they are not interested and put something on the card, please do not bother me again. You can segment them, but if you can establish a direct contact, you can also just have this small question: are you not interested because you are a user and you know everything, so you cannot get new information from us, or are you a non-user and you're not interested, so public transport is not an option at all for you, that you can make the segmentation here. And of course, on the same for the interested people, also we ask the people, are you a user? Have you used it in the last 3 months, this bus system? Are you aware of it? Do you know this label, this new brand? Or is this total new information that there is a new bus system in your area? And this is the segmentation, how it works. In principle, we have these public transport users, they are interested. So still public transport users, especially as the system has changed and not all the information were totally delivered to the clients. Of course, they have experienced something is different now, but they still said, okay, send me this information letter, this order form, because some things maybe are quite interesting for me as well. So this is 28% of people, of PT users, and there's some PT users that say, I'm an expert mode, expert level user, so you can tell me your stories from the system. But this is only 4% here. And we have the non-users. We have there's a small number of non-users, just 13%. They said, please don't bother me. It's not in my interest, because there is always a latent interest to see the system. And also, we try not to give any pressure on the people that you have to use the bus, and otherwise you're not a nice guy. So really, this is an offer. It's like a menu list. You can take it. You receive the information, so it does not hurt for you. And if you think it's interested, you can even use the bus, of course. And these are this 56%. So therefore, we have a relatively high acceptance rate because people do not feel pressured themselves by our program. So this is very defensive. So this is the list what we have offered to the people, and this is the number of the selected ticks in the tick box in the order form. We see in total we had around 600 order forms, 568, what we get back from the people, and this is just by rank the information. First, we also offered a regional map with some basic information on the area. It's more a leisure map also with some sightseeing objects and some other information, the bicycle passes in the area, but also the public transport information is included in the map, of course. Then we have the bus network map itself, the abstract map, just as I have showed you in the first slides. Then we have the bus, the timetable. So they have produced a small timetable, a pocket timetable, where all the line is included, and it's the WA1 line. And they produced it, by the way, for all the 21 lines. But we offered the people only the timetable only just for their specific area. As already said, we focused on the region. Then we have a general leaflet on ticket information. So how can you calculate your ticket price based on what are your origin and what are your destination and how frequently you using the buses. We have the contact information about the mobility agency. So there is a mobility agency in the area. Only minority knows that you can give a phone call, and if you are interested in any mobility question, so how to get an, I don't know, electric bike, where can you sell it, or where can I rent it, or how the public transport system works. All these questions are covered by this mobility agency. But again, they are not very offensive in their they have a web page, and of course they have a phone number, but we have also promoted here, and they also have some leaflet on this. Then we offered the people a test ticket, so it was sponsored by the public transport operator from the area, that they have a 1-week test ticket, that we say, okay, there is no risk for you in relation to expenditure. You cannot buy the wrong ticket. You have a 1 ticket free, and you can test any lines in the area, all the Waldviertel lines, and experience yourself without any risk of losing some money because you say it's rubbish. So we just show up on the bus driver. So this is ordered 229 times, so every second one asks for such a ticket. Then we have these timetables. They are usually placed on the bus stops directly, that you can have a printout version of this and you can put it on your fridge at home, that you also already at home see at any time when are the buses departing, if they're in time. Then we have a specific brochure on an international line from Waldviertel. It was also a project to establish an international line abroad to the Czech Republic, and they have also produced a folder, and of course, as I said, we screened the total mobility market in the area, and also we included this in this order list, that people get aware of this bus offer. Yeah, and then we have this pocket timetable from the regions. Also the Transport Consortium in the area also produced a nice brochure, also somewhere in the room laying around, and also we promoted this is existing, so this is for the whole district. So we have the province, and then we have districts, and we have some districts like Zwettl, Grün, Horn, these are the district towns, and from this area also they have an integrated small booklet. This is just 20 pages, or very less, small A5 format, that people can have it themselves and have all the information, the timetables in the area. Then, as I said, we have the individual timetable, so we offer them people to calculate ourselves. There is an internet application, you can do it on yourself, but only a minority knows it at the first hand, and there is no motivation so far to do this maybe for most of the people. They are not frequent users. But mainly the problem is they are not aware of this service. But we ask them, okay, what is your origin, what is your destination, or even the address. You can also and you do not need to know the bus stop. You can also enter the address on this application, but we do that for them, and we print it out, and also you get asked only on weekdays, every day of the week, only Sundays, which time a slot, and automatically a timetable is initiated on this application, and you can print it out, and we have sent it to the people. Another information is this online timetable on the app. There is an app you can download in the App Store, and you have an online timetable, also considering any delays, potential delays in the area. Also a minority, only the specialists of public transport usage are aware that this is a free app, and also there is a small brochure we have produced, how to download and what are the functions of this app, what are the possibilities, and how to use this app. Yeah, and these are other pocket timetables of the other districts, as you see here, but these were more or less a little bit outside of the target area, so this is the reason why the frequency of orders were valued. And then we talk about these nice gifts here that we have also offered to people for two reasons. First of all of these gifts, they are branded with the Waldviertel linie, of course, so this is kind of advertisement. And I will show you some things of this. These are, by the way, the bags, what we have delivered, the old information material, also with the branding of the buses. For the camera. and you see here, we have umbrella and pocket light. So even on, especially in the rural area, pocket light is also a funny story, of course, because sometimes you need a pocket light when you're on the bus stop and you have not a timetable on your hand, because sometimes there's no public light in the area. We have an isolated mug to bring your coffee to the bus stop when you wait. You can warm yourself, or for example, the wash bag. We do not use this again because then people argued, you need the wash bag. If you do not catch the last bus home, you have to stay overnight somewhere else. And then you have this wash bag at your hand. But maybe this is not the good image, not the right message for the users. So this is again you see. Yeah. Again we've done this with the label of the area. So we have these two dimensions that we have, of course, have nice things, really useful things. So we do not deliver only drops or roller pens, but things what we think people have really an effect on, and therefore also the people have the motivation to send back this order form. That's also the idea behind, of course, that they said, okay, at least I get a present, and even if the other information. But of course, if they receive the information, they will go through it, of course. Okay, and now we start about saying something about the results. We have these two-dimensional results. So first of all, do the people feel bothered about all this action? Or do they feel this is a good idea, the first time that operator or some organization near to public transport operators start to get initiated to contact potential users, and also to get in contact to understand their problems, to understand also their information needs. So this is the question, is it a duty of the operators to get to the people, or is it the duty of the people to get to the operator to get all this information? And as you see here, we had a feedback questionnaire after the program to the people who participated, and mainly you have a high grade of general positive feedback that people say, yeah, it's a good idea in this area to do this, to really that one select all the mobility information available around on the different markets in the area and to offer these. And of course, every second also said this was a good motivation, good initial point, also to first time or to another time uses the buses and try out to make maybe a shopping tour with the bus instead of the car as well. But this is of course the main idea of the project, to get more people to the buses. And we have passenger counts. We made passenger counts on a yearly basis before and after this program. And what you see here in the darker color, you see there is a general trend of increase of passengers because it was a new service, and of course people also has mouth-to-mouth contacts and information, and also people understand the system and use it more often. So the general trend was 90% plus of passengers in the area in this year, before after the program. But on WA1 time, we had an over average increase of passengers of 32%. So you see an effect on this line. What we have noticed also, but this was only really the test trial, WA23 line, there is a very poor service, only 3-4 times a day service, 3 times a day, you have no changes. Because really this is only restricted to, not really restricted, but really people only use this bus, they have really no other options. So they are poor people, they have no alternatives, they have no access to a car, and therefore they have to use it at all. But you cannot motivate, of course, people if you have a very poor bus service. So this is not worth the effort to make if there is no basic supply on the system. So also now in our project now, we are concentrating on lines. We have at least 1 or 1.5 hour frequency per hour over the day. We've also analyzed who are especially reflecting. So you see, of course, even school children are reflected more on the program. So instead of bringing people by the car, by the parents to the school, they use the public transport service. So in Austria, we have no school bus system. Maybe in other countries you will use the school bus system as a separate bus system. But in Austria, usually the pupils are using the public transport buses open to all for this information. We have 29% of commuting trips additional and other purposes like shopping or visiting friends. Okay, this was the first overview on our project and our experience, where we are basing on this project here as well. Thank you very much for listening.